Welcome back to my channel, Rebirth of the Word. Thank you for joining me. Today's video presentation is going to be about my 1870s Bible. I'm going to go over the first few pages that I've read so far. Every Monday around 10 a.m. I present this live on X, also known as Twitter. You can find my Twitter page here. And if you're interested in learning in what's written in this 1870s Bible, then I highly recommend you following me. I'm not sure how often I'm going to do this, but I am going to do this enough to where I complete the Bible. And I will present it here on my YouTube channel. Please spread the word. I appreciate it. Thank you. And jumping right into it. But here's the first page. You open it up. It says Saul is attacking David. It seems like David is over here playing music, and Saul over here wanting to attack him. But when you read the ancient text, that kind of makes sense because noise has always been a disruptor. But why is it with music is it considered a disruptor? So I thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, y'all can see it. Okay, I'm just making sure y'all can see it. I thought this was pretty interesting. It says, "Blessed are the poor, blessed are the meek." So, the Holy Bible containing the Old Testament and New Testament, together with the Apocrypha translated out of the original tongues and with the former translations, diligently compared and revised, to which are appended a concordance, the Psalms of David and Metri, and index tables and other useful matters. The text conformable to the standard of the American Bible Society. Philadelphia, Charles H. Yost, Bible Publisher, number 1217 Market Street. Interesting. All right, the Bible Dictionary. It's time to start reading. Comprehensive and explanatory Bible Dictionary, carefully adapted to the wants of the Christian family. This is small print. Excellences and improvements, modern and important, not attainable from any other single source, throwing the clearest light upon natural and civil history, biography, geography, archaeology, literature, traditions, customs, institutions, manners, dress, habits, superstitions, doctrines, dialects, and antiquities, comprising the labor and learning of centuries, the chief value of thousands of volumes of essays, histories, travels, commentaries, and expounding the sacred scriptures so as to aid the public to understand them better and love them more, by Samuel J. Vandersloot, author of an improved dictionary of the Bible, editor of Illustrated Practical Dictionary of the Bible, author of the Church Dictionary, and so on and so on. It's entered according to Act of Congress in the year 1872 by E.W. Miller in the Office of Literature of Congress at Washington, D.C. Wow. All right. So I'm just going to read. This is a view of Jerusalem. I guess you can scan in on your phone, take a quick screenshot, take a look at it real quick. It looks pretty cool. You got people on the outside of the walls. Don't know why. But let's start with letter A. I also have a website, www.rebirthoftheword.com. Please go check out my website. I share everything that I've learned from every book that I've read. I have a YouTube channel also. Follow me on Twitter if you're not following me now. I have a Facebook, and I am in the middle of writing my first book. I'm actually on chapter 5. So starting with letter A, it says Alar, so it's spelled A-A-L-A-R. And it says, some of the captivity failing to show their pedigree as Israelites returned to Judea. From this among the places, the name is also given as Ada or Adon. So it's A-D-D-A-U or A-D-D-O-N. Aaron. We all know who Aaron is. Abaddon, the Hebrew term for the destroyer. Abaddon, spelled A-B-A-D-D-O-N. The Hebrew term for the destroyer, the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in Greek is Apollyon. I believe I said that correctly. Apollyon. From the occurrence in Psalms, rabbins make... Oh, God, I need to get some glasses. The rabbins make it the nethermost of the two regions into which they divide the lower world. But it evidently in Revelations referred to the angel and not the abyss. Some have applied the name to Satan exclusively. Others also apply it to Mahomet, M-A-H-O-M-E-T. Others to the Pope of Rome. What the heck? I can't curse right now. I'm reading the Bible. So I'm going to go to Abana. This is the second one. Or the next one after. A-B-A-N-A. One of the rivers of Damascus, which Naaman the leper thought better than all the waters of Israel. The Barada and the Awich are now the chief streams of Damascus, the former of which most probably represents the Abana. It rises in Lebanon towards the south and receives in its course the waters of several fountains. Abarim, A-B-A-R-I-M. It's a range east of Jordan and Moab and facing Jericho. Mount Nebo, head of the Pisgah, from which Moses viewed the promised land before his death. It is its most elevated spot. Weird. Abba, A-B-B-A. Syriac word signifying a beloved father applied to God by Jesus Christ. Abednego, A-B-E-D-N-E-G-O, is a servant of Nego, that's Nego, that's a G. Nego, perhaps the same as Nebo, the Chaldeans, name given to Azara, one of the three miraculous saved from the fiery furnace. Abel, the name of several places in Palestine, probably signifies a metal. Abel Beth Ma'akak or Abel Ma'im. I'm going to spell that. The first one is Abel, A-B-E-L-B-E-T-H-M-A-A-C-H-A-H or A-B-E-L-M-A-I-A-M or A-B-E-L-M-A-I-M. And a town in the North Palestine where Sheba was beheaded. 80 years after it was ravaged by Ben-Hadad. In the day of Christ, it was called Abilah. Abel Mizram, i.e. the morning of Egypt, the name given by the Canaanites to the floor of Abad, at which was made the lamentation over Jacob's corpse when carried to Machpelah. It was on the east of Jordan. Abel Shittim a town in the plains of Moab beyond Jordan, Israel's last resting place before crossing the Jordan. Here, 24,000 Israelites were destroyed in one day for falling into the sins of Moab. Abel Mahala, a city west of the Jordan, in the birthplace of Elisha, near the city, Gideon defeated the Midianites. Abel Sermon, a place eastward of the Jordan, the great Abel, otherwise the field of Joshua, was near Bethshemesh, and so called perhaps from the mourning of the Hebrews for those who were struck dead for looking into the ark. Ooh, wow. Here's another Abel. It's ABEL. I.e. breath, vapor, and what's it say? Transisterinous. The second son of Adam, murdered by his brother Cain. The reason for the acceptance of Abel's offering is explained. So I gotta go to there and read that. Okay. Where it is said that Abel had faith, i.e., respect to the Messiah, to come into the divine appointment. Our Lord, as well as the early church, subsequently referred to Abel as the first martyr. The traditional site of his murder and grave are pointed out in Damascus. Pretty interesting. Abi, mother of King Ezekiel, written also Abijah. God, these people have so many different names. Change names like a lot. Abijah, Abia, Abijah, Abia, Abiah, or Abijah, son of Becher, the son of Benjamin, wife of Hezron, second son of Samuel, whom with his elder son Joel he made judge in Beersheba, and his successor on the throne of Judah. Judah. Alright, let's see. Where am I? Man, these letters are small. I got some reading glasses somewhere. I don't feel like getting up. Alright, Abi Asaph. Also written Abi Asaph, which is Ebiasaph. And head of a Korahite family and an ancestor of Samuel, the prophet. Golly, man. All right, let's see. Abiathar, 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 yeah. The fourth high priest in descent from Eli and the only one of the sons of Amalek who escaped the slaughter of Saul. He fled to David, to whom he adhered, and the wanderings was with him while he reigned. Hebron carried the ark before him when David brought it to Jerusalem, and was faithful to David during Absalom's rebellion. When, however, Adonijah set himself up as David's successor against Solomon, Abiathar said with him, while Zadok, Zadok, was on Solomon's side. For this, Abiathar was deprived of his office, and Zadok put in place, thus fulfilling. This one's messed up. Here we go. There we go. Zadok was of the house of Eleazar, Aaron's eldest son, while Abiathar was of that of Ithamar. The younger branch from which the high priesthood was to pass by reason of Eli's son Abiathar's offense was forgiven, and we find him named as in his office under Solomon. But after a second attempt against Solomon by Adonijah, Abiathar was deposed and banished to Anathoth. In Mark 2:26, we find Abiathar spoken of as high priest when David ate the shew bread. This accounted for if Abiathar was the person who persuaded his father to let David have the bread, and if the loaves were given by his own hand to David. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah. Abib, A-B-I-B, called also Nisan, Abio, Abiel, Abiel, father of Kish and grandfather of Saul, as well as of Abner, Saul's commander-in-chief, one of David's mighty men. Abigail, the beautiful wife of Nabal, a wealthy owner of goats and sheep in Carmel. When David's messengers were slighted by Nabal, Abigail supplied David and his followers with provisions and succeeded in appeasing his anger. 10 days after Nabal died and David made Abigail his wife, by her he had a son called Shilabab, Chilab, and a sister of David married to Jether, the Ishmaelite, and mother by him, Amasa. The statement that the mother of Amasa was Israelite is a transcriber's error. So if anybody says Amasa was an Israelite, that's a transcribal error. 1870's. Abihail, wife of Rehoboam, father of Esther and uncle of Mordecai. Abihu, Abihu, the second son of Aaron by Elishba. He with his elder brother was consumed by fire from heaven. Now let's stop and take a break for a second. Abijah, Abijah or Abijam, son and successor of Rehoboam of Judah's throne. He reigned 3 years and was succeeded by Asa, second son of Samuel, called Abiah, a descendant of Eleazar, who gave his name to the 8th course of priests. To the course belonged Zacharias, father of John the Baptist. Okay. Abilene, a small canton between Lebanon, a small canton between Lebanon and Antibanos in Syria, traditional of the death of Abel, are associated with the spot and localized by a tomb. Lacanus was governor here in the 15th year of Tiberius, or whatever that is. Tiberius, Tiberius. Abimelech, Abimeliech, the title of the kings of Philistia, also the name of wicked ruler in Israel. Abinadab, Abinadab, a native of Kirjath, spelled it Kirjath Jearim, Jerim, in whose house the ark remained 20 years. So Abinadab, a native of Kirjath Jearim, in whose house the ark remained 20 years. Now I know there's many of arks, so I'm curious which one it was. Abiram, son of Elab, who with Dathan on Korah organized a conspiracy against Moses and Aaron. Wow, Abiram. I read the Bible so many times, and this stuff is always new to me because these names, these letters, oh man, it's just so It's a lot. It is a lot. Abi Ishag, Abishag, a beautiful Shunammite taken into David's harem in his old age. After David's death, Adonijah induced the queen mother to Ark Solomon to give him Abishag, Abishag, in marriage, but this petition caused Adonijah his wife. Abner, the son of Ner and first cousin of Saul, who made him commander-in-chief of his army. After the death of Saul, David was proclaimed king of Judah in Hebron, and subsequently Abner proclaimed Ishbosheth, Bosheth, Saul's son, as king of Israel at Mahanaim beyond Jordan. War soon broke out, in which Abner was defeated afterward, prompted by the ingratitude of his king. Abner inclined to the side of David, by whom he was received. He was finally treacherously murdered by Joab and Abishai at the gate of Hebron. David was indignant, but as the assassins were powerful, he contented himself with showing every token of respect to Abner's memory by following the bear and pouring forth a simple dirge over the slain. This again, abomination of desolation, mentioned by our Savior as a sign of the approaching destruction of Jerusalem with reference to Dan. The prophecy evidently referred to the ultimate destruction of Jerusalem by the Romans, and the abomination describes some occurrence connected with that event. It appears most probable that the profanity of the Zealots constituted the abomination, which was the sign of impending ruin. The introduction of the Roman standards into the temple, regarded by many as a desolation, took place after the destruction of the city. Abram, the son of Terah and founder of the great Hebrew nation. His family descended from Shem and had settled in Ur, beyond the Euphrates. Terah had two other sons, Nahor and Haran. The latter died before his father, leaving a son, Lot, and Terah taking with him Abram with Sarai, I should say, his wife, and his grandson Lot, immigrated to Haran in Mesopotamia, where he died. On the death of his father Abram in the 75th year of his age with Sarai, and Lot pursued his course to the land of Canaan, whither he was directed by divine command, where he received the general promise that he would become the founder of the great nation. His subsequent history, these letters are small. Okay, yeah. His subsequent history, embracing the pitching of his tent beneath the terebinth of Moreh, Genesis 12:6, and his halting on a mountain between Bethel and Ai, his journeying to the rich cornfields of Egypt, his deception of Pharaoh in claiming Sarai as his history, his return to Palestine, his separation from Lot, his attack upon rout of the invaders from the northeast, who in defeating the king of the Sodom and his confederates had carried among other captives Lot and his family away, the confirmation, Jesus is so small, the confirmation of the thrice repeated promise that his descendants should be a mighty nation, the birth of Ishmael, the change in be a mighty nation, the birth of Ishmael, the change in his name from Abram, high father, to Abraham, father of multitude. Now I was just talking about that earlier, about how they changed their name. I think I said it earlier or yesterday. They changed their names based off of their, I want to say duties, I guess you could say. His circumcision, ouch, with that of his male household, the appearance of the three angels and the subsequent birth of Isaac, the repetition of Abram's temporizing policy in regard to Sarah and the king of country, the mockery of Isaac by Ishmael, followed by Hagar's expulsion, the great trial of his faith in which Isaac was set apart as victim in the staying of the sacrifice by an angel of Jehovah. There's that word, Jehovah. Sarah's death and the purchase of the cave at Machpelah. His taken to wife Keturah, Keturah, by whom he had 6 children, and his death at the age of 175 years. Damn. It is claimed that he was born AM 2008. It is claimed that he was born AM 2008. One more time for the crowd in the back, just because y'all ain't heard me. Abraham. It is claimed that he was born AM 2008, only 2 years after the death of Noah, though There were 9 generations between them. Some learned chronologers place his birth 60 years before Noah's death. Some learned chronologers place his birth 60 years before Noah's death. From his intimate communion with the Almighty, he has received the exalted title of the friend of God. So Abraham is the friend of God. Accho, a seaport of Canaan. It was subsequently called Ptolemais and was made famous in Crusades when it was called the Saint Jean d'Arc. The Christians were expelled from it about 1291, and it has since been held by the Turks. Absalom, Absalom, third son of David by Maacah, daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur, a Syrian district northeast of the Holy Land. Absalom appears as the instrument for the fulfillment of God's threat against David in Psalms 2:12-11. His servants by his order murdered his half-brother Ammon for violating his sister Tamar. This stuff is just sick. Just know what that means too, right? Afterward, he rebelled against his father. His rebellion was at first successful, Absalom taking possession of Jerusalem and his father's harem. David, having fled over Jordan. Fled over Jordan. At last, after a decisive battle against his father, he was defeated in the wood at Ephraim, where his long hair becoming entangled in the branches of terebinth or oak, he was left hanging, his mule running away from him, in which position Joab dispatched him. A moment in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat, bears the name of Absalom's tomb, but on account of the iconic pillars at its base, it belongs to a later period if it is a tomb at all. Accho, Accho, a seaport of Canaan. It was subsequently called Ptolemais and was made famous in the Crusaders when it was called Saint Jean d'Arc. The Christians were expelled from it about 1291, and it has since been held by the Turks. Acel Dama, a field from which potters dug their clay, lying little south of Jerusalem. It was purchased by the Jewish rulers with money thrown back by Judas. Whoa! So, I'm going to read that again. Acel Dama, Aceldama, a field from which potters dug their clay, lying a little south of Jerusalem. It was purchased by the Jewish rulers with the money thrown back by Judas. Therefore, it was called Aceldama. Aceldama, appropriated to the burial of strangers, and is now used by the Armenians of great arched vault, and is 100 feet long and 70 broad. Its modern name is Hak Ed Dam. Man, these names are crazy. Achaia, I guess, IA, a Roman province which with Macedonia comprehended the whole of Greece, hence they are frequently named together in enti to indicate all Greece. Achaicus, name of a Christian named in scriptures, I guess. Achan, an Israelite who, when Jericho and all it contains were devoted to destruction, secreted spoil in his tent. For this, Jehovah punished Israel by defeat in their attack upon Ai. Oh my goodness, AI is everywhere. When Achan confessed his guilt, he was stoned to death with his whole family by the people, and their remains with his property were burnt. From this event, the valley received the name of Acre, which means trouble. Achim, father of Elud in our Lord's genealogy, fifth in succession before Joseph, husband of Mary. Which Mary? Let's see. Ashish, Achish, Philistine king of Gath, and the title to the 34th Psalm called Abimelech. David twice found refuge with him when he fled from Saul. On the first occasion, being recognized, he was alarmed for his safety and feigned madness. From Achish, he fled to the cave of Adullam. On a second occasion, David fled to Achish with 600 men. Acre, valley of. Okay, so this is a valley of trouble. The bottom one, the last one, the bottom one on the left column. The spot at which Achan the troubler was stoned. Dang, man, stoned right there. Okay. Akshah, daughter of Caleb, her father promised her in marriage to whoever should take Deborah. Othniel, her father's younger brother, took that city and accordingly received the hand of Akshah. Caleb added to her the upper and lower springs which he had pleaded for as suitable to her inheritance in a south country. What? Acts of the Apostles. This continues the history of the primitive church written by Luke. It does not fully furnish an account of the labors of the apostles, but only a few, chiefly those of Paul. It covers a period of about 30 years, beginning with the accession and extending to Paul's arrival at Rome and the appeal to Caesar. Ada, the first mention of Lamech's wives, by whom were born Jabal and Jubal. One of the wives of one of the wives of Athsu. Yeah, there we go. Couldn't see that. Called. Yep. So the next one, Adam. Adam. The scripture name of the first man, apparently having references to the ground from which he was born. The Hebrew name for which is Adama. In the first 9 chapters of Genesis, there appear to be 3 distinct histories relating to the life of Adam. He is referred to by St. Paul, Romans verse 14. Dang, this is so small. We read that through the subtlety of the serpent, the woman given to Adam was beguiled to eat the forbidden fruit and gave it to her husband. Adam is stated to have lived 930 years. His sons are given as Cain, Abel, and Seth. I want to, you know what? This book is from the 1870s. Just to be able to sit here and read this and share this with you guys. This book is over 150 years old. Okay? 150 years old. That means who touched this Bible before me? Look at this 150-year-old book. I'm taking care of the book. Look at my I got white gloves on. Yeah, I know y'all can't see it right now because I changed the viewing, but I got white gloves on. That's how this is serious. All right, Adar, a Jewish month. Got to see months. Adar. That Adar was Adar, and there's an Adar, Adder, a venomous reptile, often called viper. The term occurs. Hold on. Let me flip the page for you guys. There we go. The term occurs. I gotta be very careful with this book. Occurs in our translation. The original word is Shephithon. I'm gonna spell that Shephiphon. Thought by critics to be the Ceratus. Cerastes, a viper which lurks in the sand, the color of which it resembles in Psalms. The Hebrew word is Pethans. In Psalms, it is Akshub, which is also rendered asp, asp. In the term is, I don't even know how to spell it. Oh, say that. Tziphoni, which in Issa and elsewhere is rendered cockatrice, or baliskik, a serpent said to kill with its breath. Oh man, so you got God that gives life with breath. You got a serpent that takes life with breath. Or said to kill with his breath. And that was, what was this description again? ADDER, the venomous reptile called viper. All right. Adonai Bezek, Lord Bezek, king of Bezek, a city of Canaanites. This chieftain was vanquished by the tribe of Judah, Judge 3:7, who cut off his thumbs and great toes and brought him prisoner to Jerusalem, where he died. He confessed that he had inflicted the same cruelty upon 70 petty kings whom he had conquered. Jesus Christ, man. Alright, Adonijah, my Lord is Jehovah, the fourth son of David of Haggith, born at Hebron to Sam, third, fourth, after the death of Ammon, Shilab, and Absalom. He became eldest son, and when his father's strength was declining, put forward his pretensions to the ground. Adonijah's cause was espoused by Abiathar and Job. David immediately gave orders that Solomon should be too. Annotated and proclaimed king, Adonijah was pardoned by Solomon with the threat that if wickedness were found in him, he should die. The death of David quickly followed, and Adonijah begged Bathsheba to procure Solomon's consent to the marriage with Abishag, the wife of David, in his old age. This was regarded as a fresh attempt on the throne, and Solomon ordered him to death by Onias. Adonai Ram, by contraction, Hadoram and Hadoram, chief of receiver of the tribute during the reigns of David, 2 Sam 24, Solomon. Tribute from the rebellious Israelites by whom he was stoned to death. Adonai Zedek, Amorite king of Jerusalem, who organized a league with 4 other Amorite princes against Joshua. The Confederate kings laid siege to Gibeon. Joshua put the besiegers to flight. The 5 kings took refuge in a cave at Makkedah, whence they were taken slain. Now, this looks pretty cool to me. The altars of ancient almost look like some chess pieces, don't it? I love chess. Adoption and expression. So the word adoption means an expression metaphorically used by St. Paul. He seemingly alludes to the Roman custom in which the adopted child was entitled to the name and sacra privata of his new father. The Jews themselves were unacquainted with the process of adoption. Indeed, it would have been inconsistent with the regulations of the Mosaic law. Adoration. Man, I'm getting to some better words now. Things I can pronounce. The acts and postures by which the Hebrews expressed adoration are similar to those in the East. To rise up and suddenly prostrate the body was a simple method, but generally it was more formal. The person falling upon the knee and inclining forward until the forehead touched the ground. Such prostration was usually in the worship of Jehovah. Adoration. Adram-Melech, a deity of the Sepharvites. I can't say that. Sepharvaites, who seems to have been worshipped as a god of flocks and herds. Children who burnt in his honor. Man, we just repeating history over and over. This was also the name of the son of Sennacherib. I can never say these words. Sennacherib, Sennacherib, who with his brother Sharazar slew their father in the temple of Nisros. Adramyttium, a seaport in the province of Asia in a district called Aeolos and Mysia. Adria, a sea of the coast of Italy. Paul suffered a Paul suffered a great tempest upon it. It is now known as the Gulf of Venus. Adriel, son of Barzillai, to whom Saul gave his daughter Merab, a previously promised to David. His 5 sons were among the 7 descendants of Saul, whom David surrendered of the Gibeonites. Okay. Adullam, Adulam, a city of Judah near was the place of David's concealment. It was of great antiquity, continued for several centuries after Christ. It is now extinct. Adultery. The Mosaic penalty was the guilty party should be stoned. A bondwoman so offending was to be scourged, and the man to make a trespass offering. Later, the penalty was seldom inflicted. Thus, in the case of the woman brought under Lord's notice, John 8, it is likely no one thought of stoning her, though there remained the written law ready for the cavalier. The famous trial of waters of jealousy was probably an ancient custom paralleled by the red water in Western Africa. Okay, so this next picture right here, you got the guy over an altar. It has poles like the ark. I mean, that's probably why a lot of people call them different arcs, because I'm looking at you're looking at the depiction too. But this is an altar, incense, and a high priest. Let's see. Adumim, a rising ground over against Gilgal, the position occupied by the road leading up from Jericho to Jerusalem on the south face of the gorge of the Wadi Kelt. The pass is still infested by robbers, as in the days of the Lord, of whose parable of the Good Samaritan this is the scene. I'm going to spell this. Aeneas, a paralytic at Lydia healed by St. Peter. Aenon, a place near to Salem at which John baptized. It was evidently west of the Jordan and abandoned in water. Agabus, Agabus, a Christian prophet and apostolic age mentioned in Acts. Agag, Agag, possibly the title of the kings of Amalek, the like Pharaoh of Egypt. One king of his name is mentioned in Numbers, and another in 1 Sam. Agar, a Hebrew sage, son of Jacob, who uttered or collected the saying in province. Agate, second stone and third row of the high priest's breastplate. The gate was doubtless known to the Orientals. It is a silicious stone of the quartz family, age old. The Jews were taught to specially respect old age. They were looked up to. The young were ordered to rise up in their presence. They were taught to regard gray hairs as a crown of glory. In public affairs, age carried great weight with it. Agriculture. This was little cared for by the patriarchs, although prominent in scriptural narrative concerning Adam, Cain, and Noah. The pastoral life was the means of keeping the sacred race while yet a family distinct from mixture and locally unattached, especially while in Egypt. When grown into a nation, they conquered their future seeds. Agriculture supplied a similar check on the foreign intercourse and speedy demoralization, especially as concerns adultery, which commerce would have caused. Thus, agriculture became the basis of the Mosaic Commonwealth. Rain. The abundance of water in Palestine made it contrast to rainless Egypt. Come on, rainless Egypt. Crops. The cereal crops of constant mention are wheat and barley, and more rarely rye and millet. Plowing. The plow was likely very light, and 1 yoke of oxen usually sufficing to draw it. The mountains and steep places were hold. Sowing. This took place without previous plowing, the seed being scattered and plowed, and afterwards the soil was then brushed over with a light harrow, often of thorn bushes. In highly irrigated spots, the seed was trampled in by cattle, as in Egypt by goats. Reaping and threshing. The wheat, etc., were reaped by the sickle or pulled up by the roots and bound in sheaves. Oxen, etc., forbidden to be muzzled, trampled out the grain. At a later time, the Jews used a threshing sledge called morag, probably resembling the norag still used in Egypt today. Winnowing. The shovel and fan, the precise difference of which is doubtful, indicate the process of winnowing. The fan was perhaps a broad shovel which threw the grain up against the wind. The last process was the shaking in the sieve to separate dirt and refuse. Agrippa, Agrippa, C. Herod. Ahab, son of Amari, 7th king of Israel, reigned BC 919 896. He married Jezebel, daughter of Ethabal, king of Tyre, and at her wishes built a temple to Baal and a grove to Astarte. I can never say these names right. Astarte. How the adulterous priests were slain, how a famine reigned in Samaria, how Naboth and his sons were cruelly stoned to death, and how finally Ahab was slain by a man who drew a bow at a venture, the dogs licking up his blood, and all fully narrated in the first book of Kings. A lying prophet burnt to death by Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah, burnt to death. Crazy. Ahasuerus. There were several kings of this name. Cambyses, king of Persia, during whose reign the building of the temple was suspended. Darius Hystaspes, the husband of Esther, who died AM 3519. Predux and others think Artaxerxes, Logomanus, the person, Scaliger, and others that it was Xerxes. Next word. Ahava, a place or river on the banks of which Ezra collected the second expedition which returned from Babylon to Jerusalem. Researchers are in favor of the modern hit on the Euphrates. Ahaz, 11th king of Judah, son of Jotham, reigned 741-726. At the time of his accession, Rezin, king of Damascus, and Pekah, king of Israel, had proceeded to lay siege to Jerusalem. Upon this, Isaiah has hastened to give advice. Proceeded to lay siege to Jerusalem. Upon Isaiah hastened to give advice and encouragement to Ahaz, and the allies failed in their attack. Ahaz became tributary to Tiglath-Pileser. He ventured to seek safety in heathen ceremonies, making his son pass through the fire to Moloch, consulting wizards and necromancers. Necromancers. Ahazih. That's the next word. Son of Ahab, Jezebel, 8th king of Israel, reigned BC 896-895. So what is this AM crap? I don't get it. I'll have to look that up. And therefore of the proceeding, Ahaziah reigned 1 year BC 884. He called Azariah, probably by copyist area, in Jehoahaz, Ahijah, or Ahijah, son of Ahitub, grandson of Phinehas, and great-grandson of Eli, succeeded his father as priest in the reign of Saul. Ahimaaz, father of Saul's wife. Ahin, son of Zadok, the high priest in David's reign, and celebrated for his swiftness of foot during Absalom's rebellion. He carried to David's important information Afterwards, he was the first to bring to the king the good news of Absalom's defeat. Amalek, son of I'll just spell it. Son of Ahitub and high priest at Nob, he gave David the shewbread to eat and the sword of Goliath, and for so doing was put to death with his own house by Saul's order. Ahinoam, a daughter of Ahimaaz and wife of Saul, a native Jezreel, married to David during his wandering life. She lived with him and his wife Abigail at the court. Achish was taken prisoner by the Amalekites, but was rescued by David. She is again mentioned and was the mother of his eldest son Amon. Ahithophel, a privy counselor of David, whose wisdom was highly esteemed, and grandfather of Bathsheba. When he joined Absalom, David prayed Jehovah to turn his counsel to foolishness. Ahithophel, David, Ahithophel, Ahithophel, persuaded Absalom to take possession of the royal harem. David sent Hushai to Absalom. Ahithophel had recommended an immediate pursuit of David, but Hushai advised delay. When Ahithophel saw that Hushai's advice prevailed, he despaired and, returning to his home, put his household in order and hanged himself. Dang, man, you have to hang yourself. Aholiab, a Danite of great skill as a weaver, whom Moses appointed with Bezalel to erect the tabernacle. Alabaster. The ancients consider alabaster to be the best material in which to preserve their ointments. In Mark, the woman is said to break the box before pouring out the ointment, which probably only means breaking the seal. Alexander, son of Simon the Syrian, who was compelled to bear the cross for our Lord, one of the kindred of Annas the high priest, Acts, a Jew at Ephesus, whom his countryman put forward during the tumult, an Ephesian Christian, reappropriated by St. Paul in 1 Tim, as having with one Hamias made shipwreck concerning the faith. This may be Alexander the coppersmith, mentioned by the same apostle, as having done him many mischiefs. All right, let me flip this page. Let's flip the next page where you got